What's a normal thing that makes you strangely sad? Throwing away things that have been with you a long time and broke. Electronics, shoes, clothes. I can't bring myself to throw away a fucking t-shirt because it's like a nice t-shirt and I wore it a lot and now it has holes and is unusable, but I keep dragging it out. I threw out shoes and had to mentally prepare for that. These things carried me for literal miles and miles and here I am just putting them in the garbage. Fuck that so much. Vegetables work so hard to grow and spend all their resources on it and then we just chop them down or dig them up. This mostly goes for things like root vegetables and greens where we hurt the plant instead of taking its fruit. I'm about to graduate uni, which means that I'm about to once again move away from my support base. Police brutality. Lost bet signs. Just imagine the feeling of desperation that goes into making those signs. Trying to find your best friend and not knowing where they are or if they're okay. Every sign has a story like that. When I can adopt all the animals from a shelter, I can't go in there alone. When an old man is eating in a restaurant, alone. Every 2 weeks, the last speaker of a language dies, and the language dies with it. The key of D minor. A car that's been badly maintained. At some point it was new and shiny and smelled good, and it just has been neglected. Even beaters look better with trash cleaned out of them and the windows cleaned. It's like watching wasted potential. Sunsets. They just feel sad. When my depression flares up they literally make me cry. I think it's just the sense of an ending. Knowing that no matter how many hours I keep playing, I will never be the player I strive to be. Malls. Now specifically malls in communities of less than 250k people. They're a slowly dying thing. Really large trees being cut down. People putting the cap on plastic bottles before throwing them in the garbage. Putting the environmental issues of plastic bottles aside, me thinking of water a finite resource that won't return to the ecosystem for potentially thousands of years bums me right out. My wife booted up an Animal Crossing New Leaf save with the express intention to poke around a little before deleting the save, and one of the villagers she talked to mentioned the standard "it's been so long since we've seen you" before saying, "if this is our last day together, let's make it the best day ever." It made me want to cry for some reason. Meet Zoo. When I see a YouTube channel that used to post often but then slowly stopped. Like the last time they uploaded was over a year ago. They usually are small channels so it seems like they give up. And it always makes me super sad. Parents ignoring their kids in favor of their phones. Shouldn't be normal but I see it way too often. American pride being something that has to be hidden depending where you are in America and who you may be around. Greatest country on earth is being manhandled by radicals, with absolutely zero leadership telling them to stop. The state this country is in makes me so sad. If you weren't old enough to remember how together this country was after 9/11, minus the dolts who attacked the Muslim community, and even more ignorantly the Sheikh community. I have used this example before of being something I'm so glad I got to experience and something a good percentage of younger people see as an attack on their ideals. I'm allowed to feel how I feel, just like you're allowed how you feel. It's why I joined the military and served this great country. American pride is something that can't be explained by the taking down of the Roosevelt statue is just so depressing. The man embodied what it meant to be an American. No one is opposing this. All for the sake of votes. Leadership is terrible on both sides, another normal thing, and I'm sad. Lobsters in the tanks at restaurants or markets. Poor bastards. Watching my parents grow older. That I will grow old one day. The use of schools as daycare, and the lack of education. Going to the zoo. Last week I was in a zoo for me and my GF's anniversary. Near the end we came across the bears. There was a mother bear, I think, sitting in the corner with her cub on the back. It looked very depressed and didn't move at all, just looking at us from time to time. The fact that the bear was sitting right at the glass didn't help me. The legal system as a dude. Imagine actually having the same chance to get your children as your ex-wife. Babies crying. Or any toddler even. I'll hear a baby crying across the store in Target and still feel the urge to cry. I have no idea why I do this. Watching my dog get old. Foie gras. Going to the zoo. Intentional train wreck TV shows. Like Hoarders or the ones with interventions. The new one is the 90-Day Fiancé, I think. My wife loves these shows, but they are just so sad I refuse to watch because life itself can be sad enough without taking on extra. All the plastic waste that comes with the packaging of products. Little bits of grass growing through a concrete parking lot. When I see anyone drop an ice cream. We moved to Germany about 2 decades ago and had to leave our grandparents behind, because they didn't have a German heritage. So we had to leave them behind in Kazakhstan. They both had a special spot in front of their house. It was a bench between 2 trees and was facing the horizon with mountains far away that were nearly hiding behind sun rays. They always sat down there a few hours, about 2 to 3, before sunset and would look at the scenery until the sun sets. And every time I happen to notice a beautiful sundown or see mountains in the distance, I get sad thinking about what they might have thought about and if they thought about us with a heavy heart or not. My opinion, I am not body shaming anyone seeing anyone fat. It just makes me sad to know that they aren't able to regular things without pain and always be judged based on their looks. A lot of times it's due to bad situations and they just eat to get out of it, and it pains me that some people do that. People getting cancelled for offending one person. Changing weathers from summer to winter. This transition always makes me sad. I have no idea why. Seeing a dead cat on the road. Absolutely wrecks me. A pigeon watched me roll a cigarette in the rain this morning before work. Head tilted 45 sideways at times, thinking the crinkle of my tobacco pack was some delicious pastry treat. When we made eye contact, I couldn't help but say I'm sorry too loud over the sound from my headphones. She paced around in front of me slowly, occasionally 45-degreeing me blatantly. It was like I was cornered, but I couldn't help but get an overwhelming sadness for her difficult existence, presumed hunger and probably painful death. When realistically, what I should really care about is the fact that it's not even 8:30 a.m. and I'm rolling my 3rd cigarette of the day to complement my large, half-drank Red Bull. Elderly alone walking or sitting on the bench. I feel horrible every day for my contribution to harming the planet. I get upset at others for having cars that are too big or being wasteful in general, but really I am no different. This generation has a big apology to make to the next. Seeing overweight children makes me extremely sad. I am most depressed when I wake from beautiful dreams that seemed so real. Dogs that are super obedient and loyal to their masters. There was this one YouTube video where the owner put food in front of his dog and told him to wait. He then left the room and the dog continued to wait and stare at his food bowl. Don't know why I teared up from that video. Seeing dogs reminds me of my dog when she was still with me. Racism, that makes me freaking sad. When I see who the President of the United States is. Who is extremely anti-American, to say the least, neighbor and close personal friend to Epstein, literally the largest child rapist, kidnapper the world has known in the past 10 years. People talking about their dads. Mine passed away battling cancer a few years ago and I miss him a lot. Living. Seeing people have friends in real life. I talk to like 2 or 3 people online every once in a while, but besides that I have no real friends and it makes me a little more depressed thinking about it. Especially because I've been trying for years now. Seeing a family restaurant that had been a community staple get replaced with a fucking Ponderosa or some shit. Roadkill. It's sad that it's just a normal thing. Frown. Family barbecue. I look around and think about all the people who used to go but have passed away. Sometimes I feel sad when I realize that dates don't repeat, like there is only one June 23, 2020, March 13, 1980, etc., and I have no idea why do I feel this way. Being tired. When I finish a really good book slash series slash movie slash etc. Whenever I get invested in a story and it ends, I get this weird obsessive happy sad feeling that lingers for a while. My family makes it looks like having a family is so difficult. All I want now is to be alone, but seeing happy families makes me happy and sad, wanting to participate forever in those happy moments. But having families is not easy all the time, and in some cases it's just hard.